So, hey guys, Chauzu here, and a happy new year. This will be my first video of 2024, and as is becoming my own tradition, I start the year by showing you guys my favorite units from last year. I picked 30 units from 6 different categories, and it's not some super meta analysis or anything. I actually started doing tier lists now, so I leave that for here, but here's basically a mix of what I think is good and what I personally like to use during the year from different perspectives. And yeah, let's jump right into it. First, we're going to look at PvP, and I actually think this has been a pretty weak year from PvP, at least in terms of rare recruits. I put 3 pretty influential ones here, but I think it says a lot when a unit like PvP Sasaki definitely can be called one of the most influential units of the year, but he has an incredibly meh special that is basically bad, but he's just carried by his ability and the fact that he was a long-awaited striker unit that also has a pretty nice secondary class in Slasher. But yeah, Sasaki as well as Luffy Yamato really carried me last year when I got my first and probably only ever victory in Pirate Rumble. Yeah, this unit was meta in PvP once, and even though I had mostly a hate relationship with Luffy Yamato last year, I have to give them credit that they really carried my ass hard in PvP back then. And I obviously had on level 5, which was not my intention. It was from the infamous single multi-pull bug, where I could pull 4 dupes of them with 50% legend rate, which was absurd. And I know that a lot of people got upset about that, but it feels like that's the past now. Bygones be bygones and all that. Obviously, there are a lot more meta units now, but yeah, we all know and love them. I felt like I wanted to include one PvP legend though, so I added the Shinobu Raizo I just pulled that I haven't used yet. But we're going to see a lot of use for them, of course. They are such an annoying unit, especially with their action bind to a large range horizontal, 100% chance as well. So yeah, going to continue to annoy us with the low CT. At the bottom, we probably have 2 of the best PvP rare recruits. First, we have Inazuma, which has been part of a very surprising defense-focused team we've been seeing the rise of with Cerebral. And I've just stopped fighting Cerebral, not really because of Inazuma, even if he's a good part of it, but mostly the Black Maria, the Robin Koala, now recently Nami Karina as well, with Inazuma and a lot of other annoying PvP rare recruits. Yeah, that team is a nightmare still. And finally, probably the best overall PvP rare recruit from last year, we have Blue Jam. I still forget his name all the time. And yeah, he's a quick focused unit, but luckily in the past the meta for quick has been quick driven, so he's been able to slot in both on quick teams and driven teams and always does a good job. Like in Super PvP, Blue Jam always sees use when you try to build like high boost teams and such. But as you've seen, maybe if you've seen my recent Grand Party videos, maybe the era of quick driven is coming to an end with the rise of quick slasher. But they do still need some good PvP rare recruits, I'd say. Moving on, we just have some of the best generic rare recruits, and I probably give the title of best personally to this Frankie that released during the Kizuna from Annie together with Super Tandem Zoro and the King, V2 King. And he just has a really cool kit. When the top row characters get a guaranteed 1 orb as a sailor, and then his special where he has a lot of good traits for removing paralysis, giving his orb to others, and also being able to set defense to 0 for 1 turn, and also having a chain boost that can carry over. He can even wave clear and keep the chain boost. So he has seen some good use from time to time, even being part of teams like Luffy 2, Grand Voyage, for example. As a whole kit though, I think Kiku takes the cake. Very good utility, you got that Deft unconditional. I think I even got the wrong Kiku here. I just noticed. We still get a lot of Kikus. I'm thinking about this Kiku, of course. This Kiku is just amazing. With that self HP cut, removing special bind attack down by 6 turns. Big ore boost, big chain boost. And on top of that, actually a great support. Probably one of the better supports of the year. You both get HP cut, and sometimes you want to be low HP. Sometimes this lets you bypass stun and stuff like that, but also free attack down removal for a few important units. Super solid. We also had the Ace badge for Global Anu with the 3 brothers, and Skull and Mihal are definitely the best of that badge, with good utility and able to get 3 turns of color affinity, which is not a common buff at all. We have the recent released Kinemon. That is actually really good. I haven't maxed him yet. I might still pull dupes, so there's no rush. But yeah, just amazing utility, reducing CD. Sadly for just slasher, but still nice bonus, I'd say. Reducing paralysis, the main reason you use this unit is for his buff extension, being able to extend attack and call off into by 2 turns. Super useful. Buff extension in general is part of the future, I'd say, so it's nice to get some new options for it. And finally, I'd say like the most used recruit overall throughout the year is the Robin from the anniversary. Just a solid, classic solid Robin unit with good utility. You can even lock orbs, give a good attack boost to 3 colors. Yeah, she's seen a lot of use in the last few months. Moving on, we're going to take a look at some speed units or units that have seen some good use in Treasure Map. And I want to give a special shout out to Gordon that I haven't used a lot yet, but he's definitely the most unique PKA unit we've gotten, since he's ready from the beginning of the content. He can reduce the CD of a unit by 2 turns, and then the turn after you get -2 CD to the top row units. So basically a -4 CD for a top row unit. That's just a super cool option to have that we didn't have before. We only have 2 Treasure Map recruits here actually. One is the Blackbeard, and like when I team build for Treasure Map, there's often I want to use him, but I kinda don't, because I know a lot of people don't have him. But just a super solid unit and really cool with having a slasher striker Blackbeard, and with this art being Psy. And it's just a very cool unit that I've ended up using in like showcases or such, in arena and such, with reducing CD, removing damage reduction and threshold. You can get a color affinity. So yeah, very solid unit. We also have this whole batch with all of the Wano samurais. This is the only one I have right now, but all of them are definitely worthy of being here, even as a great support. Free ore boost, final stage when you run a Yamato. Like all of them are super good. The actual special is not that interesting, but I thought I'd give a shout out to all of those 3 Wano samurais. We have Hack, who is actually not a Treasure Map rare recruit. He debuted with Sabo, who was an Ani legend, so he's a normal rare recruit because of that. But he's been like the GOAT rare recruit for Treasure Map this year. There was a few months when he was boosted all the time in Treasure Map, and every time he saw some good use against the main boss and saved a lot of people. So he gets a special shout out for that, just a solid unit overall. And finally, I felt like I had to give a shout out to Cesaro. Technically not new, so I made a special exception for him, but he's such an amazing wave clearer now. Low CDs, he can basically always be used. He handles the Orb Manip now with the rainbow orbs perfectly locked. and also keeps the chain lock like he will be used basically every treasure map. Okay, we're halfway there. Moving on, we're going to take a look at supports. So that's both support rare recruits and other supports we've gotten that I think are noteworthy. Let's start with the support of the year. I don't care what people say. This bot is broken, can be put on any straw hat. If you use a special, you get a free 5000 damage threshold that removes 97% of the damage past 5000, so you basically can't die, which is amazing. The resistance the next turn is just a nice bonus. Sometimes not a bonus, since you might have another buff you want to hit perfects for, but it is what it is. A few other support recruits worth mentioning, but I went with Momo. He's one of those that is both nice for extra damage, but also nice for utility, and can be put on Oden, Luffy, Yamato, so some good options. So we have a free attack down removal final stage, yet another, exactly like that Kiku before. But you also can get some extra increased chain growth rate. So that's just some free extra damage while having some good utility. I have a legend here. I had a hard time finding units, actually. There weren't that many standout supports this year, I'd say, or last year. But getting another damage reduction remover when hitting perfect was really good. You also get 10% of ISO stats, so just a solid stat support in general. And can be put on some units that don't have that many supports, but now we always have the option of running ISO. Finally, we have another treasure map rare recruit here. Could have been in either category, to be honest. Special is also really good, having a chain boundary that can be 2 stages and good utility. But the support is also very nice, can be put on 2 of the most common units in the game. And you have 2 turns of matching orbs, which means you can avoid negative orb debuff. And you also reduce paralysis by 1 turn, just super solid. Finally, we have Marco Vista, and I try to tell people this every chance I get. Their text is wrong on global. It says that they remove the character special bind, but this is a crew-wide special bind remover. Absolutely amazing. We don't have many of those, and can also be put on some rare Viper parrots, so we get more reasons to use them. Okay. Next category are some noteworthy free-to-play units. I just put Viper as a shout-out because I thought it was very cool to revisit Sky P again. It's my favorite arc. I like Viper a lot, and he has seen some good use as mini-boss killer in Treasure Map. RIP the Treasure Map free-to-play, by the way. Very sad about that. We have a recent unit here in the TCG Kid. I've used him a lot. It's super cool to have a free-to-play unit getting a full board of unchangeable orbs through block, and also have the color affinity that just can continues, the continuous buff until you take too much damage. Super solid kits. Garpa sees some good use since he released as the 5+ Kisuna together with the global anniversary. It's very cool since he can captain swap. As a captain, he can use a super type to remove some defensive effects. He can remove more defensive effects with the super tandem, which is pretty easy to use. So yeah, it's been very solid, especially in treasure maps, more accessible teams and such. Radu, mostly just giving a shout out because this is the only arena we got last year. An absolute disgrace. Nothing else to say about it. Unit was okay, but come on, Bandai. Just give us an arena at least every 2 months. Like, come on, just do it. I even forgot the farmer. That's pretty embarrassing, but yeah, it is what it is. Finally, we have the by far best free-to-play unit of the year, the Raid Bonnie, only raid we got as well, by the way. And yeah, the paralysis removal, but that doesn't really matter. The main thing about this unit is that you get every chain basically. You use her turn 1, you get the chain boost to the final stage in, say, a Super Boss Kizuna. Next stage, you get a chain boundary that you can keep to final stage as well, so you have 2 chain buffs then. And then you hit perfects this stage, you get a third chain buff, so 3 in 1. This is what we're saying is super good with Zoro Sanji, and here we have a free-to-play unit doing the exact same thing, of course with lower values, but amazing unit I can see used in a variety of content, even Super Boss. I've used this unit for Super Boss, so that's quite amazing for a free-to-play. And finally, we have Legends, and it's going to be completely subjective what I've liked from this year, so I picked 5 of my favorite ones. Can start from maybe the most controversial, even if it isn't to me. But yeah, in one go. Probably my favorite legend personally. Don't think he's good enough to get my Legend of the Year epithet that I gave to Lockerube and Beckman last year, but he's close. I'd say it's a second place at least. Actually a cool captain where if you hit against color affinity, you get a recovery orb for free. Nothing else stands out, but that's a pretty cool effect. You mainly use Ivanko for the special. Actually get some C reduction for top row. Best to look at that as a bonus really. But then that effect changes depending on the unit. You can get a 3-turn attack boost, 3-turn orb boost, 3-turn color affinity, 3-turn chain boost. And this all depends on the classes of the captain. You even can get some very good utility depending on the color. So this is one of those units I basically always check when I make teams to make sure is Ivanko the perfect solution here. And it turns out quite often Ivanko is the perfect one. So always good to keep in mind. Super unique unit. Sadly, he sucks in PvP. Moving on. My favorite unit during Andy is probably Queen, has seen good use. Revive the captain action, even if he just stole Soba's captain action, but still very cool to see that again. It was very fitting too. Other than that, captain ability is nothing special, but it's cool that it had good synergy with V2 King as well. The captain action. And special has seen such good use, it's such a good special. Not only the full board tandem or manip, you also have the good utility in removing death up and damage threshold, same as Zoro Sanji does. Also can get the color affinity for 2 classes. And of course before the nerf, Queen could give color affinity and also increase damage taken, which meant Queen started seeing use on stuff like 6+ Gear 5 teams for Super Boss, which was very crazy to see. So nerfed now, so might see less use, but I still think it's a really good legend. Rayleigh, Gaban, many people sleep on them, but I think they've been maybe the most used debut of the year. It helps that they debuted the first month of the year, so of course that helps. But yeah, Speedrun captain that also removes attack down, super useful and universal too. And then the special is not that best, but it does the job. Removes special bind. They also have a swap that removes it, so they can remove special bind as captain too, which is very nice. Very low super swap that can give a chain boost, also a low attack boost to help out, and some other utility. So they've seen a variety of use. Very solid legend. Final 2 legends. Don't think I have to talk too much about Zoro Sanji. They haven't been out for long. Shortly after this video goes out, I'm going to be pulling on part 4. Maybe I can get some more copies. Maybe I can get even luckier and rainbow them. Who knows? But yeah, lot to say. I'll just say that their super swap giving tandem orbs every turn to adjacent units is going to see so much use to enable super tandem on every team. I think that's all I have to say. The rest of the kit is also amazing. Finally, we have my Legend of the Year, and it feels incredibly boring to say so, but it turned out to be Gear 5 Luffy for many reasons. The main one being the busted captain ability. I say it every time, but we're talking about a unit that can revive, can ignore defensive effects, resist bind, resist special reverse, Usually, units are lucky to get 2 effects. I can't remember many that have 3. I'm trying to think one with 3, but I can't remember. Like we have a unit like Yamato Ace, this is bind, special bind, that's amazing. But this is 4 effects, and yeah, it's just outstanding. The good thing, that was pretty bad at first, but I've come around to it, is that it's not easy to use. You have 15 CD, you have no CD reduction here. It means that there's some more pressure on team building to make up for that. Units should have some flaws, otherwise it's not fun, at least in my opinion. EX is also a bit of a flaw that you need 3 specific units, and often you want to run another Luffy, like the 6+ version for example, the high grade, and then it's very hard to fit, so building around this can also be a big challenge. Main flaw with this unit otherwise is that the special is very captain focused, like as a sub for example, you can't even go into gear 5 mode, and you can't get the ore boost that you can get as captain for example, which is very boring. But yeah, this legend will keep seeing a lot of use, and yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of gear 5 Luffy I'm sure, but I doubt they'll top this first one, at least in creativity. So yeah, that's my 30 favorite units of the year. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching guys. See you next time.